Hello, and welcome to another episode of the PintSizeAnalyze podcast. In tonight's episode, I'm going to be discussing the Mariners' unfortunate 6-3 loss to the Minnesota Twins. They have now lost 2 out of 3 games in the series, and it was really just a frustrating game all around where they had some very exciting moments. They at one point tied up the game in the bottom of the eighth. It looked like, in the bottom of the seventh, they tied up the game. It looked like they were potentially on their way to a victory before some unfortunate luck happened where there was a passed ball that unfortunately Tom Murphy was unable to get to in the top of the eighth, which scored a run, giving the Twins a 4-3 lead. And then Devin Sweet, who was his contract, both Devin Sweet and Prelander Baroa, who we've been expecting to be called up to the Mariners bullpen anytime soon. They were both called up today, and Devin Sweet made his major league debut in the top of the ninth. He unfortunately gave up a 2-run home run to Alex Kirilloff in that time, which ended up not being like a difference maker in the result of the game. But obviously, if Munoz would not have given up the run before, it probably would have been sealed in that situation. So I don't think that you can really blame him for that because it was, uh, and it was in his major league debut in the first place, and also Kirilov had really an excellent opposite field swing. I have no idea how he was able to hit the ball out of the ballpark because it was a really quality pitch. Um, in the bottom of the second, the Twins scored first, and that was off of a Ryan Jeffers ground ball single, and then in the uh, bottom of the or top of the fifth, Max Kepler hit a home run, and then in the bottom of the fifth as well, Edward Julian, who has been very hot. I believe he's like 9 for 12 this series with 3 walks or something like that. He's like genuinely one of the hottest hitters on the planet right now, and probably going to be named American League Player of the Week after this week. He also hit a home run today, unsurprisingly, and he went 2 for 2 with 2 walks, and he has a 968 OPS this year. So as you can tell, he is playing very well. I just wanted to look through. Um, let's go to Fangraphs and let's just look at his numbers for this series because I'm curious to see what they are. But I know that he's just killed the Mariners. Uh, Edward Julian, right there. And he's just a rookie this year, but he has a 167 WRC plus this year, and he absolutely crushes righties. I believe he has a 5 WRC plus against lefties and a 176 WRC plus against righties. So he just has absolutely crushed the ball. But yeah, on Monday he went 3 for 5. With a walk, and then so four or on base 4 times, and then yesterday he was also on base 3 times yesterday with a home run, and then today he had 2 more hits, both extra, or no, one single, one double, and then or one single, one home run, and then 2 walks. So yeah, as you can see, he's been like an extra base machine, just on base machine, doing significant amounts of damage. One thing that was very exciting and has really continued. I feel like I've talked about this on multiple episodes of the podcast, and that's just because his players continue to be hot. But Tom Murphy went 1 for 4 today, I believe, with a home run, and he now has like a 145 WRC plus in the season, 140 WRC plus, yes, and see, he went 1 for 3. Yeah, that's right, he only had 3 at bats, but 1 for 3 with a home run, a strikeout, and he's batting 275 now, on base percentage of 330, and a slugging of 540. And in the grand scheme of things, he might be a player that's on the move in the upcoming weeks, depending on how the Mariners play. I feel like there's multiple players that could very honestly be on the move in the next couple of weeks, and unfortunately, Tom Murphy, Paul Sewald, um, some other good relievers. I don't think we trade Munoz, but Gott was like a decent reliever, and we ended up trading him. Although it was kind of a salary dump move, but I think that there's a lot of Mariners that could be on the move in the next couple of weeks, depending on how this team plays. And unfortunately, Tom Murphy is one of those. Although he has been, racing his stock a lot, and like as evidenced by the home run today, he's continued staying hot. It just feels like he's putting up really quality at bats like every time he comes to the plate. But yeah, as you can see, batting 360 in June and then 333 this month. And that is in he has a 200 WRC plus this month. He had a 220 WRC plus in June, and then a 156 WRC plus in May. So yeah, as you can see, all it took for Murph was just that first month of getting his timing back, which is kind of expected when a player misses like 3/4 of a season like Murphy did last year. But now that his timing's back, he is a very, very excellent hitter. He's been like one of the best hitters on the Mariners this season, and it's really exciting to see. But obviously, we're hoping that this team's able to turn it around, so he doesn't end up having to turn into a trade deadline piece because that would be really really sad. But the thing with Murphy as well though is that I don't really know if this offensive breakout this year is that surprising. And I know that a lot of people kind of penciled him in, and this was kind of a an optimistic or aggressive projection, but I know that some people projected that maybe he could be like a 110 WRC plus backup catching bat against lefties this year, and he's been far better than 110 WRC plus. He has, like I said, a 140 WRC plus, so he's been like really really excellent. And but if we go back to 2022 though, we can see that even though it was only I believe 52 plate appearances, or no, actually it looks like 33 plate appearances. No, 42 plate appearances. I mean, yeah, 42 plate appearances in total. He actually had a like a 150 WRC plus 152, and he was crushing both lefties and righties, which is a trend that has continued this year. Um, I know that, like I just said, a lot of people projected that maybe he'd be a slightly above league average backup catcher against lefties. He's been well above average against righties too, and the home run that he had today came off a righty. So for him to be, just such consistent stats, and against both lefties and righties is really really exciting as well. Obviously, the K rate is slightly higher against righties, but still producing very very much against both. 140 against 147 against lefties, 120 against righties. Those are better than starting catcher numbers against both. And so yeah, it feels like Murphy is, and also it's exciting because it feels like Murphy's really really starting to uh, learn and dial it in with the current pitching staff. I know that there's obviously a lot of new arms in the Mariners over the past 2 seasons. Luis Castillo, Andres Munoz, players like that, who are really really George Kirby. Who are really, really important arms to the Mariners, and Tom Murphy has really, really learned how to catch with all those guys really, really well. And I know that there was the pass ball today, which ended up, being like the run that was the difference in the outcome. But I believe that Murphy, as a defensive catcher, has been excellent this year, and that he knows how to call games with the pitchers that are on this roster, and he knows what pitches to select, and he knows how to use pitchers' repertoires to their best ability, or to his best ability. He understands how to use pitchers' repertoires and for how them to be able to be most effective against hitters. So I think that Tom Murphy is really, really an important player to watch over the next few weeks, not just because he's been hot, but because of the chance that the Mariners could unfortunately trade him over the next few weeks. Uh, these are all things that we need to be very, very aware of. And just keep our eyes out on Paul Sewald, like I mentioned. Right now, I personally would say that Paul Sewald and Tom Murphy are probably like the two biggest trade candidates on the team. But obviously, we don't know. And obviously, there's the young starters, Wu, Miller, and then Gilbert has been thrown in some conversations as well. Although the Mariners were reportedly saying that Kirby was untouchable, which I very, very much agree with. I believe that. I personally believe that they maybe shouldn't trade any of those pitchers unless the offer is really, really right. There's like a truly excellent or a truly, really, really good player that they know they're going to get a good return on, who can really help the offense back. I don't believe that they should trade any of those pitchers unless they're sure that that's what they're getting. But it's just something to look forward or to look forward to. But there's also the chance that this team may not be in this situation at all. But it's just really really frustrating because we don't really know what this team's direction is going to be at the trade deadline. We don't know if they're a buyer. We don't know if they're a seller. We don't know if they're going to stand pat. We don't know if they're going to trade young pitching. We don't know if they're going to acquire hitting. We don't know really anything. And obviously that's how it is every trade deadline. But it just becomes even more. There's like a sense of uncertainty even more when you don't know whether the team is good or not. And right now, we don't know if this team is good. The only thing that we know is that this team is, average. They're 500, and they've been playing 500 for most of the season. Now, that's all we can really say for this team. There was the hot stretch before the second half, but, these recent games against Detroit and now the Twins really, really have me questioning whether that hot streak was legit. And yeah, that hot streak was against playoff contenders, but they need to win against non-playoff contenders now. And I know that the Twins are leading their division, but they wouldn't be a contender in any other division. So, or they wouldn't be, they wouldn't really be a contender in any other division. So, um, yeah, I mean the Bears, if they are going to be a contending team this year, they need to win those games against the Tigers and against both the Tigers and the Twins, but it's hitting me right now, and I feel like I've already kind of known this, but it feels like the just time is running out. They need to start winning right now, and let's hope they can rebound tomorrow. I'll be at the game with my friend. I'm excited. It is his first Mariners game, and I don't know how long, but I'm very excited that he's going to be there with me. It's George Kirby bump day. George Kirby has not had two bad outings on back-to-back days as a Mariner once this season, and I don't believe he did last year either. He tends to bounce back, so let's hope for a Mariners win tomorrow. Let's hope for a good start from Kirby. Let's hope for one that, is able, maybe he goes 7 strong, helps the bullpen. Maybe a Prelander Baroa debut tomorrow. Who knows? But let's just hope that this team, bounces back with a win tomorrow and is able to, move into this series against, um, I don't even remember who it's against this weekend. Let me check. Let's hope that they can move into this series against Toronto. That's right. It's against Toronto. Yeah, duh, against Toronto. Let's hope that they can have this series against Toronto, and let's hope it goes well. All right, thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great night. Peace.